morning, everyone. It's Amanda Aguilard. I'm happy to see lots of friendly faces popping in. It looks like people are jumping in, so I'll take just a second and let everyone get settled. So this is a little bit about me. What you really need to know is that I've been using Xero a long time because I love it. I started my practice back in 2012 in New Orleans and picked Xero really early on. So because I was pretty early in that adoption, kind of had to figure my way around. So in doing that, just figured out a lot of things early. It's kind of like the frontier back in 2012 and 13 in the cloud, and use that knowledge to co-found Elephant with Monica. Okay, here's our plan for today. So this summer I wrote a book on Xero. It'll be out in the spring. It's called Xero, A Comprehensive Guide for Accountants and Bookkeepers. And in writing that book, I realized there were pieces of Xero that had either been developed or tremendously improved in the last, let's say, year or 2 years that I didn't really understand. And so I figured if I didn't understand those functions and those modules fully, there were probably a lot of other folks who didn't as well. So I decided we would do this as a webinar. This webinar is going to be almost entirely in Xero. So I just want to give you the slides so you can know where we're going, but then we're going to jump over to Xero and be in Xero for pretty much the whole time. So the first thing we're going to cover is short-term cash flow. This is an in-product dashboard that Xero added recently, and also business snapshot, also another in-product dashboard that Xero has added. So we'll cover those and talk about what makes up the tiles and the pieces and how those can be customized. We're going to talk briefly about custom chart of accounts. So you guys may not have seen it on your side. I think it is still in beta to be released fully soon, but I am going to show you what you're going to be able to see for custom chart of accounts in Xero HQ. Report templates. Report templates is probably one of the biggest time savers in Xero for your practice. So we're going to talk about how to manage that and dive in a little bit deep on some things that may not be as clear. So we're going to talk about some special customization and report templates. And then if we have time at the end, we'll touch just briefly on Budget Manager. Okay, I think everybody, since you guys have been on Xero for a while, for the most part, you should all probably know that Xero does have a demo company available to all users. It is populated with some data, so you can get in and you can play around and then you can reset it. So we use the demo company tons when we're doing training, and I find it's pretty helpful if you want to just test something, especially if you want to test integrations. Using the demo company is pretty useful. So everybody's got access. I just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that. I'm going to make my screen a little bigger so it's easier for you guys to see. Okay, so short-term cash flow lives under the business tab. So if we go in, we're within an organization, go to the business tab and short-term cash flow. Again, this is a pre-populated dashboard. It is included in all the accounts in Xero, and you just go to it and it's pre-populated. It cannot be too customized yet, but I'll show you a couple of things that you get options for. The first time you open this, you'll get a screen that'll ask you which accounts would you like to include in cash flow and what period would you like to look at in cash flow. Once you've selected that for the first time, you won't get that option anymore. You'll just get these pull downs where you can make those selections. So you can choose bank accounts, which bank accounts to include in your cash flow dashboard, and you simply check to toggle them on and off. And you get 2 period options. You get the next 7 days or the next 30 days. The answer or the end result for this dashboard is this number right here, projected balance. Like that's the answer. That's what you're gonna get to on this dashboard is projected balance. So that balance is going to be calculated based on the starting balance of whatever accounts you've chosen, plus invoices to be collected minus bills. Okay, so it's just this very simple formula. today's balance of the accounts you've chosen, invoices and bills that have due dates or expect dates within this time period. That's really important. A couple of things to point out. First, before you run this, you want to make sure that your bank accounts are fully reconciled so that the starting balance is correct. Remember that your general ledger balance in Xero for your bank accounts only includes reconciled transactions. So even though you can see projected statement balances on some reports based on unreconciled transactions, the general ledger balance does not get adjusted until those transactions have been reconciled. So you definitely want to do that first. Then we want to make sure that our invoices and bills, so the next two lines here, that these are as accurate as possible, that the collections in the next 7 or 30 days is accurate. So this is key. Xero is only going to include invoices and bills if the due date is within the next 7 or 30 days. If you have an invoice or a bill that is overdue, that due date, if you think about it, is actually before the 7 days or before the 30 days. It doesn't automatically get included in the cash balance or cash projected balance. So what we need to do is go into our sales or our purchases modules and override those dates, not the due dates specifically, but override the calculated date by putting in a planned or projected date. Now, Xero does help us out with this by giving us the suggested actions tiles at the bottom here on the right. So if we have overdue invoices, it's gonna let us know, and this is our warning. Like Xero is telling you, we are not including this in the projected balance because it's not within the 7 or 30 day period. So you should probably go fix it. So we get a quick link here, add expected dates, and we can visually see, this is in our sales overview screen, we can visually see the red dates or the red lines are overdue. All we do is go into expected date and put in our expected payment date so that it falls within our period. And we can go back to our short-term cash flow, and we'll see that now we only have 3 invoices that need to be updated. Same thing with overdue bills. We would want to go and put in planned dates. These two tiles are helpful too because they show a breakdown of what is in this line and what is in this line. So invoices owed to us, 8402. We can group this by either by date or by contact. So it does give us, a quick dashboard for seeing what needs to be managed, hopefully helping us to manage the receivables. Same thing with the payables. So we can change this view a little bit. I think this is pretty helpful for clients. So if you set this up correctly and they know they can just go in and in 2 clicks see what their projected balance is going to be in 7 or 30 days, I think it's really helpful. It's very simple. It is, again, built in Xero. And so there's not a lot of customization that needs to be done. On the other side, there's not a lot of customization that can be done. So, all right, any questions on this so far? So Sharon's asking a question about recurring transactions included. Are those included? The answer is no, not yet. So the only way we can get transactions into this dashboard is to have bills created. So if you have a subscription, which is I think your question, if you have a subscription for something, software, and it's going to be hitting the account, it's going to be drafted on a certain day, unless it is in as a bill, it's not going to be reflected in this dashboard. And then Amy's asking about credit cards. Credit cards are not included. So it's only bank accounts, which again, I hear you guys, somebody else is asking the same question. I hear you, I think it should be included. We'll see what development does on that. Carrie is asking, do invoices need to be set up in new invoice style? to use expected dates? Nope. Those are available in, that's available on the sales overview page, regardless of the type of invoices. And Danielle is asking if payroll is excluded. So payroll would be excluded unless the bill has been populated and is in an awaiting payment status. So for bills or invoices to be included in one of these lines, they have to be in awaiting payment. That means they're final and they've hit the GL. So payroll would not be included unless a bill had been prepared. So if you're using something like Gusto, where Gusto, the integration does send over a bill, that would be included if it was in the date range. However, Gusto doesn't send that bill until the payroll has been processed. So you would either have to do it in advance or run the payroll to be processed for the bill to come over. Those are good questions. And again, I'm happy to answer any last minute questions. You can reach me at amanda@elephanttraining.com. Okay, I hope everybody has a great rest of the day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks.